So here at the zoo, one of my first jobs when I was hired as endocrinologist was to understand the reproductive health of our black rhino population. We hadn't had any animals breed for about 10 years, so we wanted to try and use science to start to understand why that might be. And one of the ways to do that is to look at hormones. Black rhinos are endangered species. They're under huge threats currently for poaching in the wild. So there's about 600 in the wild, and in our captive population within Europe, we have maybe about a third of that. So it's really, really important that we understand how these animals are breeding. It's about making sure we've got a healthy, genetically sustainable population that's in our care, and endocrinology can play a role in that. It's almost like pulling back the curtains and seeing what's going on inside the animals without actually touching them, and being able to give that information to the animal managers and the keepers to say when their animals are pregnant, when they're cycling. One of the reasons that we want to start using liquid chromatography is because it takes us quite a long time at the moment to analyze our samples, and the faster we can be at that and the more efficient we can be at that, the more help that we can be to the breeding programs that we support. Could we move from enzyme immunoassays to doing all of our work doing chromatography? So one of the things that we do is we track black rhino cycles, and taking that extracts, we normally run them on enzyme immunoassays to get our hormone concentrations and see these profiles over time. And what we're interested in doing is actually using chromatography to do that, so we could do it a lot faster, use a lot less technician time, so we've got more time to kind of apply to other things that are important to us. So we had a period of time where we had no black rhinos born for about 10 years, and then all of these efforts, almost like a holistic approach, putting all these efforts in, and ours was one part of that, the endocrinology, and we've had almost like a baby boom. So we've had about 5 rhinos born very recently, so in the past 5 years, and we've got another one on the way. So we've had a couple articles published. One is in The Analytical Scientist, one is in Chromatography Today, and we've had a third peer-reviewed publication in a new journal called Conservation Physiology. We want to get out to the field that there's an alternative. So, and because you could use this in any number of species, and we actually use this in elephants at the moment in Malaysia. So I have a PhD student out in Malaysia, and she's actually using this technology, looking at elephants. They've got GPS collars on the elephants and they're tracking them. And again, it's all about population management and understanding how they manage the populations in the wild. How is that influencing their overall health, welfare, and reproduction? And hormones just gives us one insight into that. It actually came about through a visit, somebody coming through my lab from Thermo Scientific quite a while ago, and he posed the question, could you use chromatography in what you do? I suspect 5 years ago we never would have thought we'd be using some of the tools to make baby rhinos. And that's going to make a big difference if you put it in the big scheme of things. We're now taking that into the field. You're talking about having an impact on biodiversity, and that's important to all of us. That's important to our next generation. That's important to our children. It's about the world that we keep and making sure we have a nice biodiverse world that's thriving and surviving and healthy. And so that technology, if you can make all those links, does have a huge impact. The collaboration we have with Thermo Scientific is incredibly valuable to us. They challenge our thinking, they challenge our processes, and make us think, could we do this better? And giving us really novel ideas of how we can apply that in the real world. And there's quite a nice relationship because we're kind of the end user. We've got a real application at the end of it. And to have somebody challenge the way we do that and give us new ideas and new technologies to say, we've got this piece of kit, how could we use it in what you do? That's been invaluable to us in the way we work.